Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Kacharya Stuttara Sada Sri Srimad Ridhani Goswami Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nidai Go Premanande Saslavas Vranem Bhaktam Jai Shri Guru Hare Krishna. Happy Wednesday morning. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3, Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender, Text 31. Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa Stotram nishamya dijai sahasam stuvadbi Chando mayena garudena sa muhyamanas Chakrayudho bhyagamada shuyato gajendra Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi Chandomayena garudena samuhyamanas Chandomayena garudena samuhyamana Chakrayudho Bhagamadashu yato Gajendra. Chakrayudho Bhagamadashu yato Gajendra. Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi. Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi. Chandomayena garudena samuhyamanas. Mayena garudena samuhyamanas. Chakrayudho Bhagamadashu yato Gajendra. Chakrayudho Ashu yato Gajendra. Next, please. Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi. Chandomayena garudena samuhyamanas. Chakrayudho Bhagamadashu yato Gajendra. Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi. Chandomayena garude samuhyamanas. Chakrayudho Bhagamadashu yato Gajendra. Ladies, like to. Tam tam avijagannivasam. Stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi. Chandomayena garudena samuhyamanas. Chakrayudho Bhagamadashu yato Gajendra. Tam, unto him, Gajendra. Tadvat, in that way. Artam, who was very depressed because of being attacked by the crocodile. Upalavya, understanding. Jagat Nivasa, the Lord who exists everywhere. Stotram, the prayer. Nishamya, hearing. Divijay, the denizens of the heavenly planets. Saha, with. Samstuvadbi, who were offering their prayers also. Chandomayena, with the speed he desired. Garudena, by Garuda. I saw Garuda yesterday. Suddenly, yes. On the coat of arms of the Thai embassy or consulate. I was walking down the street and I see, oh, this is Garuda. Then I look, it's a Thai embassy. Even here you can see. Samuhyamana, being carried. Chakra, carrying his disc. Ayudam, and other weapons like the club. Krishna is traveling quite well armed. Disc and the club. Abhyagamad, arrived. Ashu, immediately. Yata, where? Gajendra, the king of the elephants, Gajendra, was situated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. After understanding the awkward condition of Gajendra, who had offered his prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who lives everywhere, Jagannivasa, appeared with the demigods who were offering prayers to him. Carrying his disc and other weapons, he appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda with great speed, according to his desire. Thus he appeared before Gajendra. I'm looking, this is usually the nice picture of Krishna on Garuda appearing. Yes. No. Yeah, this one. Yes. Hare Krishna. Yeah, this. Very famous. Gajendra with the lotus. Happy crocodile. Very happy crocodile. Very unhappy Gajendra. Okay, thus he appeared before Gajendra. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically hints that since Gajendra was in such a difficult position and was praying for the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for how long? 1,000 years. Hare Krishna. The demigods who could have immediately gone to his rescue hesitated to go there, since they considered Gajendra's prayers to be directed toward the Lord. They felt offended. And this in itself was offensive. Sometimes when you feel offended, it's an offense. Zamera, časih zamera je zamero. Je tudi želitva. Če si čutiš užaljen, ali, ja, to je želitva. Consequently, when the Lord went there, they also went and offered prayers to the Lord, so that their offense might be excused. Oh, Krishna ki jai, ki jai, ki jai. So that he doesn't look, oh, where were you? Why didn't you go earlier? No, ki jai, haribol, haribol. Preventive glorification. Tam tadvadartam upalabhya jagannivasa stotram nishamya divijay sahasam stuvadvi chandomayena garudena samuhyamanas chakra yudho vyagamadashu yato Gajendra. After understanding the awkward condition of Gajendra, who had offered his prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who lives everywhere, appeared with the demigods who were offering prayers to him. Carrying his disc and other weapons, he appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda with great speed according to his desire. Thus he appeared before Gajendra. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. My respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are like desire trees, capable of fulfilling desires of everyone, and who are oceans of mercy for all the fallen conditioned souls. Vaigunya kita kalita paishunyaavrana pidita dharnyar navenimagnoham chaitanya vaidyamashaye. I am eaten by the microbes of bad qualities, and my whole body is itching because of critical mentality. Therefore, immersing myself in the ocean of humility, I take shelter of Dr. Chaitanya. It's Antya-lila 5.1. Yasya prasadadagyopi sadhya sarvagyatam rajayasa Shri Chaitanya devame bhagavan samprasidatu. May Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be fully merciful unto me. By his grace, a complete fool can get all knowledge in one moment. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna is the friend of every living entity. And Krishna helps everybody. Krishna is eager to help. In the word for word here, we read that Gajendra was very depressed. So, depending on the time, it seems very unfashionable to be depressed. I remember one devotee who was a very good book distributor in Ukraine. He went to Germany. He became a very good distributor in Germany too. But he said that he started distributing books using his old approach, saying, oh, you know, this world is full of suffering. And the people on the street said, I'm not suffering, I'm fine, I'm happy. What are you talking about, suffering? So it didn't work. So not being happy or being depressed is not fashionable. It was fashionable after Lord Byron. Yes, Byron was making suffering very fashionable, being miserable. He was your neighbor, right? He was where? Trieste, Pula, correct? Coming back, he wrote his famous things, right? He was traveling through Ljubljana, I'm sure. How else? Byron. Poet. Some guy, one of those, you know, like Einstein, some of these people. He was also traveling through here. English poet, one of the greatest English poets. So he made suffering very fashionable. Those days, if you were intelligent, you were supposed to be depressed. How can an intelligent person not be depressed? So you were supposed to go around and look bitter. Now then, somehow or other, after I don't know, after 70s or 80s, it's become out of fashion to be suffering. But Gajendra was depressed. So I remember going through a difficult period. I felt depressed once. One of the times that I was depressed in the beginning of the 90s, facing the inner dirt, which I have collected over millions of years, and then all of a sudden it turned out that so much dirt is inside, and I felt very depressed, and it was very difficult, and I couldn't understand what's wrong. I had just become a devotee. Everything is supposed to be brilliantly wonderful, extremely wonderful, and it wasn't, at least inside. But I remember what gave me comfort was the understanding that the planets are moving. Yes, time is moving, so it's not forever. So this has come as change. This is Gita's ontology. Yes, anything that has a beginning will have an end. If something began, it will end. And if something is real, it has no beginning. It will be there forever. So if it began, it will for sure come to an end. And it did for some time. So planets are moving. So Gajendra has been in an awkward condition, or depressed, artha. Yeah, that's how the word for word translates this word artha, one of the four kinds that surrender to Krishna. Artha, afflicted, or very depressed in the word for word. They approach Krishna. So he was very depressed for 1,000 years. For 1,000 years. The crocodile was chewing on his foot, which is also, also a little strange. Why chew on the food for 1,000 years? Just get on with it and eat the whole elephant. No, he's chewing just the foot and just not higher, not another foot, just this one foot for 1,000 years. Hare Krishna. Sometimes this is they call it the Chinese torture. Like they drip a drop on one spot for hours. So it looks like nothing special. But if it goes on and on and on and on, it eats away. So Gajendra was suffering for 1,000 years as a result of a curse. So some offenses are mentioned here, so we will read a little later. He was cursed by a sage, who is supposed to be extremely tolerant. A sage is supposed to be very merciful, very tolerant, right? And he comes and he sees this king, Indradyumna, who is nicely meditating in the forest, so supposed to be very, very good, right? He should give him blessings. And Agastya, right? Agastya came, if I remember. And he sees Indradyumna, he comes with his, and then he curses him. Oh, you are sitting like an animal, you become an animal. So why did he curse? Being such a nice, important sage, he curses Gajendra, and then Gajendra, he's there enjoying he's enjoying in the heavenly lakes with the lotuses and very beautiful elephants. And now, for 1,000 years, the crocodile is chewing on his leg. So why does Agastya curse him? Because this king was sitting and pretending that he is in trance. And he wasn't. He was sitting with closed eyes, and he was pretending, oh, I'm meditating, I'm in trance. So the commentators are saying that Agastya understood, if he cheats me, that's okay. He cheats one sage, okay, things happen. No problem. Cheating me, no problem whatsoever. But if I let it go, if I let it slide, what will happen? Another sage will come, another brahmana will come, another devotee will come, and he will cheat another one, and another one, and another one, and he will collect so much bad will. So let me help him by cursing him to become an elephant. So he cursed him immediately, and then immediately he becomes an elephant, and then he very quickly burns the good and the bad karma that he still had. And now, right here, you can see Krishna is coming and takes him to the spiritual world. So was it good or was it bad? So would you agree to have your foot chewed by a crocodile for, 1,000 years sounds too long. Okay, let's say, how about 10 years? Also very long. What about 10 hours? What about 10 hours? Would 10 hours be fine? 10 hours sounds not, maybe 10 hours I can tolerate. 10 minutes. 10 minutes sounds too good. If after that Krishna comes, well armed with Garuda, you also get to see his Garuda, his club and chakra, and then you are free. Quickly done and free. So curses, offenses, now you see that the demigods are not sure, maybe we are now offenders. So they come and they show too much bhakti. Prabhupada says, Akti bhakti chorira lakshan. Too much bhakti is a sign of a thief. Once in Vrindavan, I was standing on a street near a fruit stall, and I think rickshaw wala was driving. I think that's how it was. I know this. I knew this fruit seller, a Bengali fruit seller, and I think this rickshaw wala said, "Oh, my dost, my friend," and the fruit seller said, "Do you know him?" I said, "I don't remember this person." He said, "So it's not your friend?" And I said, "No, I can't remember this person." So he said, "Well, then it is a thief." If he says he's your friend and you don't remember him, it's a thief. So Prabhupada is quoting this Bengali proverb. Ati bhakti chorera lakshan. Too much love is a sign of a thief. He wants to cheat you. He wants to steal something, take something from you. Ati bhakti chorera lakshan. So now you can see the demigods, again, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, it's a quote from the commentators. They feel offenders, so they glorify Krishna very enthusiastically. So when in Chaitanya Charitamrita we read about offenders. So which offenders do you remember that offended devotees and then asked forgiveness from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Do you remember somebody? Jagai Madai, yes. Who else? Advaita Acharya, Sachimata, Mukunda, yes. Yes, there is one more, which is very, very complicated story. He suffered for a long time. Gopal, yes. He put some wine and some paraphernalia for Durga worship in front of Shivas Thakur's house in the night. Shivas Thakur didn't take offense. He came out and he called his neighbor. He said, "Hey, come, look, see? I'm a Durga worshipper. Look, there is wine. I'm worshipping Durga with wine. So actually I pretend I'm a Vaishnava, but in the night you can see I'm worshipping Durga for some material things." And all the neighbors came and they said, this is very bad, very bad. Who did it? And it was another neighbor who was not allowed into the kirtan. He wanted to come to the kirtan in Shiva Sangan in the night, special secret club for singing kirtan that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had in Shivas Thakur's house. And that was his revenge. And then this Gopal, he got leprosy, which is probably not a very good disease. And he was suffering like hell, and they kicked him out of the village. He was living on the bank of the Ganga. And then one day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was walking down the Ganga, and Gopal came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are coming to save all the fallen living entities. I am suffering so much. Please save me." So we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extremely merciful, right? He's Namo Maha Vadanyaya. He's a merciful avatar. He's the most merciful avatar. So he says, "Gopal, you are not suffering enough. This is nothing. You should suffer much more, and for thousands of lives in hell." And he went away. He went. Just imagine, the most your last hope, the most merciful person tells you like this. And he went away, and Gopal continued suffering. Very funny. Is it? Depends which side you're on. And how do you feel now? If you feel happy, you feel it's funny. If you suffer, you think, I'm not sure. What if I'm in that position also? Only after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came again to Navadvip, after a few years. So for 6 years he was traveling. He went south to South India. Actually less than 6 years. For some years he went south and then he came back and then he went to Vrindavan through Bengal. Again he came to Navadvip and again he saw Gopal and again Gopal fell down at his feet, and this second time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did he do? He gave him one instruction. He gave him one instruction. He said, you suffer because you insulted Shivas. So now you go and ask forgiveness from Shivas. So we would think that it was obvious, right? Why didn't he do this immediately? Go to Shivas and ask. But it took how many years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and said, you suffer because of insulting Shiva, so you go and ask forgiveness. So he goes and asks Shiva for forgiveness, and Shiva says, forgiveness? Me? What? Why? You did nothing. So what? You put some wine in front of my house? This is nothing. What is it? Of course. And Gopal is completely cured, happy, and happy end. Very not happy end, and super happy end. The happiest possible, and even happier than the impossible happiest end. Because he reconnects with the Lord and goes back home, back to Godhead. At the end, stops suffering now and stops and experiences infinite Ananda forever. Infinite Ananda forever. So, and now he's doing service for 500 years as an example. So, would we agree to suffer a little bit as Gopal and then be in the same village with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then meet him and then infinite Ananda? Okay, here's another story from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was just reading a couple days ago. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from South India, came back to Jagannath Puri, everybody was super happy. And all the devotees, so devotees from Navadvip came to Jagannath Puri. It's another story how they learned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is back. Sorry. How did they learn? Because Kala Krishna Das came. Why did Kala Krishna Das came? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kicked him out. Why did he kick him out? Because when they were in South India, he got seduced by some Bhattacharya. Prabhupada says that they are some criminal gang and they capture new people, seducing them with their women. So Kala Krishna Das got seduced, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and he said, give me back he said, come on guys, you are nomads and I am a nomad. You are just walking everywhere and I am walking everywhere. We are the same. It's very interesting. He tried first to establish some connection. He said, we are the same. You're just, a traveling mendicant and I'm a traveling mendicant. Why do you take away my servant? Give me back. And he took Kala Krishna Das back and they were angry. They took knives, but the knives fell down and cut them. And he brought Kala Krishna Das back. But when he brought him back, he said, look, what did he do? He was very unsteady. So I don't want to see him anymore. He kicked him out. But the devotees decided, no. We anyway need to send somebody to bring news to Navadvip. So let's send him and let him serve Shachimata. So we don't hear much about what happened next, but it seems that Kala Krishna Das was serving Shachimata, the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. From that time onward. So he was serving. That's how they all learned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is back. So a big group went slowly. It was their Padayatra on foot, Eco Caravana. They all went on foot from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri on foot. But Brahmananda Bharati went ahead immediately because he didn't want to wait for the group. He thought, on my own, I will walk faster, and he arrived first. So he's one of the few devotees who are in Vatsalya Bhava with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Brahmananda Bharati, Paramananda Puri, they are treated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his spiritual masters because they are related to his seniors. So when he came, then somebody came to tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Brahmananda Bharati is here. So he goes to see Brahmananda Bharati. I think Govinda brings him to see Brahmananda Bharati. Govinda brings him, but Brahmananda Bharati is dressed as a classic, is dressed as a classic sannyasi in a deer skin. Have you seen somebody in a deer skin? So that's the classic yogi dress. I've seen some yogis in skins. Where did I see them? I've seen, yeah. In India sometimes you can see. So he is in a deer skin. And deer, I don't know how they were before, but now deer are very nice creatures. You can go to Tivoli and see. I mean, in Slovenia, many places you can see deer. Many places. Even in Washington, D.C., you can see deer on the road a lot there. Or in Sweden, I mean, they seem to be quite okay. Here in Tivoli, you already have 2 deer. We had 1 deer, now there are 2 deers. They even let you come quite close. They check out, what do you have in your hands? No, nothing. Then they run away. So he was in a deer skin. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at Brahmananda Bharati and he said, "Where is Brahmananda Bharati? I don't see Brahmananda Bharati. What do you mean he's there? He's not there. There's some guy in a deer skin. That can't be Brahmananda Bharati. My Brahmananda Bharati would never wear a deer skin. I don't see him." So he's right next to him and he says, "I don't see, where you said Brahmananda Bharati is here, where is he? I don't see him." He doesn't see him. And Brahmananda Bharati, in his mind, he decides, he doesn't like that I wear this deer skin. Oh, okay, I will not wear deer skin anymore. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sends for normal dress. They bring normal dress. He changes, and then he says, "Oh, Brahmananda Bharati Maharaj, my obeisances, Vanchakalpatarubhascha," and he embraces him. Hare Krishna. Complicated, huh? So he embraces him, but not immediately. He waits for a little change. But he accepts a change in the mind. It's enough for him to change his, to think, to have a good thought, and that's it. He accepts Brahmananda Bharati. And then Brahmananda Bharati says, "Oh, there are 2 spirits in Jagannath Puri, 2 Brahmans. One black Jagannath, there you see, Jagannath, and one golden." 2 Brahmans. One is not moving in the altar, and the other one is moving. So he wants to praise Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no. There are 2 spirits, there are 2 Brahmans, but both spirits are ordinary jivas. One is Brahmananda Bharati, and one is small Gaurahari, Shri Krishna, Gaurahari Krishna Chaitanya, ordinary jiva. So one is great, one is not so great. And then Brahmananda Bharati tells Sarvabhauma, you decide who wins, who is correct. I'm correct or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is correct? And Sarvabhauma says, Brahmananda Bharati, you are correct. You win. And immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, Brahmananda Bharati, you win. Because you are my guru, and a disciple is always a fool, so of course you win. So then Brahmananda Bharati said, no, now you win, because you accept defeat. Because the Lord likes to be defeated by his devotees. So you behave as the Lord, because the Lord loves to be defeated by the devotees. So you accept defeat. So actually you win. Hare Krishna. So that's the competition. To who will lose better. Who will lose better. So this is a very simple path. Yes. Kevalananda Kanda, the path of pure bliss. You just offer everything to Krishna and sing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if a crocodile catches your foot and eats on it, you just surrender to Krishna. And not even 1,000 years pass. And Krishna immediately saves you. As soon as you surrender. And everything ends very well. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Any comments? Any doubts? Or questions? Yes. Is it what? Yes, yes, yes. Apparently it scares away some, the snakes don't like it, and some bugs also don't. It's spread all around the world. They use some skin, and some animals in the night, they don't bother you. Well, you go to a kshatriya for whom it's dharmic, like king of Jaipur becomes coronated as a king after he goes to the forest with a knife and kills a tiger. So for him it's okay. And then you say, dear king, you have killed that tiger, can I have that skin? Yes. Because for the king, the main thing is to just get training. And it's not it's not the modern hunting, because when we think about hunting, we think about some modern hunting, but this was different. This was some training.
I was thinking about the regulative principles, because Vaishnavas don't eat meat. And I heard that there's like the same reaction if you kill, if you sell, if you buy, if you cook, if you eat meat. So
yeah, so the kings did not kill for meat. They were not killing for meat in the Vedic society. They were killing because it was their dharma to get proper training, so that in fight they fight properly. So for them, that it was not for meat; it was for training, and it's allowed. It's not. It was not. Now I don't know what's the rules. I know when Brahmananda Swami told Prabhupada after preaching in Africa, that in Africa tribes have a rule that when it's time to get married, the man has to go to the jungle and with bare hands, or with a knife, I think a knife he has to defeat a lion, cut out his heart and bring it back. So then he's allowed to marry. So Prabhupada said, oh, we should do like this also in our temples.
Prabhupada. No wonder so many single ladies.
So, yeah, we should tell what we call marriage committee to consider it. Even to go find a lion is probably not so easy. And then he's probably protected by the law and the government. Yes?
One topic, subtopic caught my mind in the story you mentioned. How can a disciple stay in this state of being a fool in front of a disciple, guru?
How to be in this mood?
Yeah, and how to not become proud and all this.
Well, oftentimes it happens automatically. You don't have to. You don't have to really try hard. In fact, I've heard more complaints from who was it? I think Niranjana Maharaj and Gopal Krishna Maharaj. They said it says that you should be a fool, but don't try that hard. Don't be such a fool as you are. No, just a little fool is enough, as you normally are. Don't do more than that. But in general, also, Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj once said that he was asked once, what is faith? And he said, faith means to accept that my Guru Maharaj is right, and my material ideas are wrong. I'm a fool in my material ideas and plans and material desires. So he says, this is faith. To have faith in the message coming through the Guru Parampara, and not have faith in these material plans that are collected in the material life. So that's being full enough. That's the main thing. Okay. Something else?
There is one more question of Avadhutaraya. What is written in the purport is that demigods were offended, but that was in itself an offense. So they came to see Vishnu and offer prayers to their offense might be excused. Question is, it is always the offended devotee who is actually an offender. Can you elaborate on this? Give some example.
It is always what?
It is always the offended devotee who is actually an offender.
Always the offended devotee who is actually an offender. Not always. Here. So in this case, taking offense meant that they were neglectful of a devotee suffering. So that was an offense. Sometimes being offended can be an offense, because if I take offense, if I feel offended, I think that he or she wanted to offend me, and this means I think that he or she had bad intentions. And by thinking that he thought like this could be an offense. Because actually, nobody wanted to offend me. Who wanted to offend me? Who cares about me, right? Who cares to think, oh, he's like this, he's like... Nobody really cares. So by thinking that, oh, he wanted to hurt me, that could be offensive. When I think that, oh, he wanted to insult me, that I presume that he had bad thoughts. And this could be offensive sometimes. Just a few days ago, I was thinking about some situations when people feel misunderstood, and that why is it such a suffering to be misunderstood? You know, sometimes there is a pater familia, you know, the father, how do you translate this? The father of the family, you know, the big head of the, the head of the family, pater familia. And everybody says, oh, he did this, he wanted this. But it's not his desire. He feels misunderstood. And he's very bitter. Like, you know, Vidura comes to tell Dhritarashtra, you're like an old dog. You just eat living like a dog. You have no teeth, you can't hear, your liver doesn't work, you're living like a dog. And you think so it's a bitter life, you know. But why feeling misunderstood is so bitter? And why empathy, when somebody understands your feeling, is so nourishing? Somebody understands your feeling, why is it so nourishing? Because I realize that when somebody misunderstands you, it's like you do not exist. So you might have lived for so many years, and they don't even see you. They have completely wrong idea why you did it. They think, oh, you're like this and you're like this, and that's not you. So it's like murder, subtle murder. It's like dying. It's like being dead. That's why it's so painful. It's more painful than physical death, because you may think, okay, let the body die, but at least I have done something for other people. But then you feel they don't even see what I am. It's like I never existed. It's worse than death, actually. It's like I never existed. That's why when somebody understands, oh, you probably feel like this, you feel, oh, at least somebody sees I exist. At least I lived. Whereas if nobody has ever seen, nobody has ever understood what you feel, it's like you never even lived. It's worse than death. Like you never even lived. So, that's why devotees are the jewels of this world because they are kind and they understand. They understand others. They understand the suffering of others. They understand the feelings of others. Not just even understand, they appreciate. They appreciate the feelings of others. Ravindra Sarup was saying how I think his PhD was critique of one philosopher. First I thought this Heidegger, but this was another one. So he basically, in his PhD, he smashes that philosopher. And then he met that philosopher. And then he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote a PhD smashing your statements." And he said, No, it's okay. At least you are the only one who took care to understand what I meant. You smashed, that's okay. At least you tried to understand. Others didn't even try to understand what I mean. So, how much more valuable is an association of devotees who try to understand and not just to smash, but to show kindness, to help people in this world. Hare Krishna.
You mentioned Hare Krishna. You mentioned that Gajendra was cursed by Agastya. And then, but this curse was again, he was cursed. Agastya didn't completely understand. He wanted to teach him a lesson, but at the same time, it was immediate. But how do we he overcome the offense by suffering.
And surrendering.
Surrendering to Vishnu.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Agastya. You can see in our index, we have Agastya Muni, cursed by as benediction. So this curse is a benediction. Page 122 and 130. Yeah, so I've been waiting to say this. I wanted to say this last lecture and I forgot, so I'll say it now. Human life is meant to convert something bad into something good. A real human is somebody who takes something horrible, unpleasant, or unfortunate and converts it into a good fortune for others. You take suffering and convert it into a gift of happiness or good fortune. That's human life. Suffering is abundant in this world. And normal life is to take even good things and convert them into bad things. Enjoy and make others suffer. Like Yudhishthir, he went searching for somebody who is worse than him. You remember, yes? There's different versions. And he found a worm, and he thought, at least maybe the worm is worse. And then he thought, no, I take a nice rasagula and I turn it into stool. And the worm, he takes stool and turns it into a very fertile soil. So he's better than me. I turn things into stool and he takes stool and turns it into something good. And he felt humbler. So he came back and told Dronacharya, said, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, I failed your task. I couldn't find anybody who is worse than me. Sorry, I'm a failure. So he said, yes, you are Yudhishthir. Duryodhana couldn't find anybody who is better than him. Also, the whole day he was searching and he saw that everybody is worse than him. So this is our task, to turn, as Prabhupada writes, make the best use of the bad bargain. Yes, we are given bad bargain. So here, Gajendra, he is cursed. He is suffering with his foot in the mouth of a crocodile. And what does he do? He offers beautiful prayers. And as a result, just remembering these prayers, just remembering the name Gajendra, just remembering even the crocodile, just remembering the lake, you turn a bad day into a good day. All of us. That will be after a few verses. This is what Krishna says. Anybody who remembers this will remove all sins, will remove all obstacles, and will turn a bad day into a good day. So surrendering, so that's the, you can say, the mission of human life, to convert something horrible into something beautiful. And you see, sometimes people are in very, very bad situations, and in horrible situations, and then they turn it into something very valuable. And as a devotee, you have a shortcut because you offer it to Krishna. You accept Krishna. I accept whatever is happening is deserved, but I surrender to you, and may my life be an offering to you. And this way. He didn't have much to offer. What could he offer? So he just offered some prayers. He didn't even understand, apparently, these prayers properly. He just remembered from before. It was just by memory. This is what Srila Prabhupada writes, that this is why we need to memorize. Because then whether we understand or do not understand, it works. And we are reading and we think, oh, yes, good. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Manjagopadaru Vishta Kripa Sindhu.